Hey y'all, so I'm back with another video today, and if you watched my last video, maybe not my last video, but we had a seafood boil yesterday that I made, and this is the leftovers. And so since it's not going to be enough for everybody, I decided to just make a little seafood rice. So I am going to take all of this seafood out of its shells and use it for seafood rice. And then I also have some imitation crab meat here that I'm going to chop up and put in there as well. I have a little bit of a red onion here, some butter, some garlic paste, some Saison Goya, bay leaves, Creole seasoning, parsley flakes, and chicken broth. And so you're also going to need a little Old Bay to season your seafood if you don't have leftover seafood like I do, but I'm not going to add any more seasoning to this because it's already seasoned. And then you're also going to need some chicken flavored bouillon cubes. This is how the pack looks. Rice that I'm going to be using is this Carolina rice. I guess you can use whatever kind of rice you want, but this is what I'm going to use for this today. So the first thing you're going to do is add you a nice amount of butter to your pot and let that get all melted. Next, I'm going to add in my red onion. This is optional. You can even go ahead and add in some like green or red bell pepper in here if you wanted to, but I'm not going to do that today. So you're gonna let this cook up for a little while. Let the onions get a little soft. And so now to this, I'm going to add in my garlic paste. You can use regular chopped garlic. You can chop your own garlic if you want. Give this a nice mix. So next I'm going to add in my chicken broth, 1 cup of chicken broth, and then 1 cup of plain water. Add my water. So we're going to kind of let this come back up to a boil. Now if you just want to use chicken broth, you can use all chicken broth or you can use all water. Now, as this is heating up, I'm going to add in 1 of that chicken flavored bouillon. I kind of just smushed it up a little bit. I'm going to add in a little of this Saison. This is going to give it color. I'm going to also put in some of my Creole seasoning. A little parsley flakes, and I'm going to throw in 1 medium-sized bay leaf. I'm going to stir this all up. You want to make sure this is all nice and combined. Now this is where you taste and add more seasoning as you wish, because however this liquid tastes is how your rice is going to taste. So before you add your rice, you want to make sure you give it a good taste and add whatever it is that you want to add in there first. So what I'm going to do now is go in with my seafood. I added in that imitation crab meat in there. I cut the crab legs kind of in half and I just put that in there for decoration. I have a few scallops, some shrimp, the mussels, and a few crawfish in there. I didn't have too many more crawfish, but I just added those in there. So I'm just going to dump all of this into the pot. So we're going to add that in. And give it a good stir. Now, like I said, my seafood is already seasoned because this is leftover seafood from the seafood boil. But if you're not using leftover seafood, you want to season your seafood with that Creole seasoning and some Old Bay before adding it in there. And you could even sear that up and cook up your shrimp and things first before adding it in here as well. So you want to give that a good Gonna kind of let that boil back up. So now to this, I have about 2 cups of rice that I'm gonna add in slowly, just so that I don't add too much. I'm gonna add in slowly and stir as I go to see how much I need. I already pre-rinsed my rice. And I'm gonna add a little more. So that was the full 2 cups of rice. I may need more. Let me just mix this up first so that I can see. Okay, so I'm going in with a little more. It was about another 1/2 cup. Okay, I think that looks good. Okay, so you're gonna leave this and let it do its thing. It's gonna boil back up and cook. You wanna keep it on about medium to low, not too high. So you wanna come back every maybe 10 minutes or so and stir your rice. You don't wanna stir it like hard, just kinda move it around a little bit to make sure it doesn't stick to the bottom of your pot, and then kind of leave it. If you stir it too hard and rough, it makes your rice mushy. So okay, y'all, so it's been about 15 minutes, and as you can see, a lot of the liquid is starting to cook out of the rice. So I'm just gonna stir. You're gonna get a fork, and stir from the bottom up. That helps your rice not get mushy. Now the rice is still not quite done, obviously, but I'm just gonna give it a nice stir because it's starting to stick at the bottom. I'm gonna do that. Now, if you notice that all of your water is out of the pot and your rice is still hard, you can go in and sprinkle a little more broth or water. I recommend broth only because if you keep adding water, it's gonna kind of take the flavor out of the rice, and you don't want to do that. So I would just sprinkle a little broth and cover it back up and let it continue steaming. So I'm gonna cover this back up and let it go because the rice is not done yet, but I don't need to add any more liquid because there's still liquid in there. So I'm just gonna cover it up and let it keep going. Okay guys, so the rice is done. As you can see, each grain is nice and fluffy, not mushy. So a trick, you have to make sure you're using a fork and don't stir very hard. Kind of stir from the bottom up, kind of like fluffing it up. That'll help it not get mushy. So yeah, all together this took probably like maybe 35 minutes to make, but like I said, every 10 to 15 minutes you want to come back and stir so that it does not stick to the bottom. And everybody's stove is probably going to cook a little different, so you just got to keep an eye on your rice. Now if you want the color a little more yellow, this is just about yellow. My camera is not really getting the full color, but it is a nice light yellow color. So if you want it a little darker, just add a little bit more of the Saison or whatever in there. But the taste is definitely there. So if y'all try this recipe, oh, and you can take the bay leaf out too at the end. You don't really want to eat that. So if you guys try this recipe, let me know how you liked it, and shout out to my sister for this recipe. She make this all the time for our like family events, and it's a hit, so shout out to her for that. And so yeah, if y'all try this recipe, let me know how you like it down in the comments, and I'm gonna see y'all in the next video.